Good morning, children. Today we are here to revise a chapter from your Panchatantra book. Okay, so we have come to the end of the 5 tantras. Okay, now what is the 5th tantra or the last tantra of your Panchatantra book is the rash action. Okay, so here we have chosen a tale named the Merchant and the Barber. By this story, you will understand that if you do any work in a hurry, without any judgment, okay, then you will meet with a number of problems, with a series of problems. The number of problems will be so many that you will feel as if your problem is not ending at all. That's why here the word in this chapter, that is eternal grief, is used. What is eternal grief? Eternal grief means the grief which is endless, that is the sorrow that is endless, the sorrow that is not having any end. Okay, so from this story you will learn that you should do whatever you are doing, you should first think over it, then take the decision to do it in the right time. Okay, so rash action. And this verse, this is the tantra which starts with the verse. You know, children, that the Panchatantra book was written originally in Sanskrit and afterwards it was translated to English. So here it is translated and written for you. What is the moral that is said in the beginning? Whoever without judgment does what the foolish barber did comes to eternal grief. So here you have to read the story to find out what was the eternal grief of the barber. Okay. Now here was once there lived a merchant whose name was Manibhadra. Okay. And Manibhadra was a merchant, but he was very kind. Okay. And helpful. He helped the poor and the needy people whenever they were in need. Okay, and though Manibhadra had much wealth, but in this process of helping the poor and the needy, he lost all his wealth. Okay, and very soon he became very poor. Okay, wealthless, and for this reason he was very sad. But because he was a man, he was a very kind man, he wanted to help the poor, so he was very sad that now he could not help the needy and the poor people. Okay, so what happened? Somebody came to help him. Okay, who was it? That we will see. Okay, so one night when Manibhadra was asleep, he dreamt that a monk came to him. Okay, and he saw a monk, and that monk saying something to him. The monk was telling him the way how to gain wealth. Okay, and what did the monk say? That he is the treasure collected by Manibhadra's ancestors. Children, you don't make that mistake that the monk was the ancestor of Manibhadra. No, the treasure that was collected by Manibhadra's ancestors or forefathers, that took the form of a monk, and he came to Manibhadra's dream to help him. Okay, and what did the monk say? That next morning when the monk comes to Manibhadra's house, Manibhadra should hit him on his head with a stick, and no sooner the monk will be heated, he will be changing into a solid gold statue, and all the gold will be of Manibhadra's. Okay, now children, you see, Manibhadra was rewarded because he was a kind man. Okay, he always helped the poor and needy. That's why his ancestors also decided to help him, because Manibhadra's deeds were full of kindness. Okay, so this was the reward of his kindness. And Manibhadra could not believe what he saw in the dream. Next morning, when he got up, he saw that he saw that really a monk has come inside his house. And seeing this, he remembered his dream, and he took a stick and hit on the monk's head. And at that very moment, the monk changed into solid gold. Okay. Now, this was the reward of Manibhadra, and Manibhadra became rich again. Now, all these things were seen by a barber. The barber saw that Manibhadra hit a monk with a stick, and the monk changed into solid gold. Seeing this, the barber did not think of anything. He did not ask anything. He did not make any judgment that what was the reason that this unnatural thing was happening. He did not ask any questions. He did not think about it. He just went and called some monks, invited some monks to his house. Okay? And when the monks came to his house, what did he do? He took a stick and started hitting them on their head. And you know that very naturally the thing happened what should not be happened. That is, many of the monks died at the spot and many were injured. Okay, so immediately as a result of it, the barber was caught, okay, by the men of law and order. Okay, they came and arrested the barber, and the barber was taken to the prison, and lastly he was hanged. So this was the reward that he was given because of his rash action. So the rash action was done by the barber in this story. Okay, so now you see that very Panchatantra book, as you know, that Vishnu Sharma is teaching the sons of Amar Shakti, and here the sons were just told that this is the moral, that in the same way as the barber did, you should not act. Never you should act according to the barber. You should always think over a thing. Why the thing is happening? You should ask question to oneself, and then only with judgment you should do a work. Okay, so this was your children that story. Okay, I have given you some revision work also. We will be discussing it now. What was the name of the kind merchant? This is very easy. Manibhadra was the name of the kind merchant who appeared in Manibhadra's dream. If you are said, if the question is little bit twisted, then you will say, who was actually the monk who came to Manibhadra's dream? Actually, the monk was the treasure collected by Manibhadra's ancestors. Okay, and if you say, if the question is simply like who came to Manibhadra's dream, then it will be a monk came to Manibhadra's dream. Okay, so you find out the difference between the two questions and then answer. Next, what is the meaning of the word eternal grief? This is very, very important to know because it is a new word for you. Eternal means endless and grief means sorrow. Okay, so endless sorrow. Next, what is the last or fifth tantra of the book Panchatantra? So the last tantra is rash action. In the same way, you can be asked about the first tantra or the second tantra, third or fourth. Okay, so learn of them also. Next, whose action was rash in the story? The merchant and the barber. Here, the barber's action was rash. What happened to the barber at the end? At the end, the barber was arrested and hanged. He was punished for his deed. Next, what is the moral of the story? The merchant and the barber. What is the moral? The moral is, you can say in your own words also, but if you quote from the book, you have to say in this way: whoever does any action without judgment comes to eternal grief. Okay, children? So, go through the chapter, read it many times, find out the new words, read the meaning of the red lettered words and learn their spellings also. Okay? Thank you.